Hey guys, Exodus here, and today we're going to be going over my build for Demon Hunter in Season 5 using the Unhallowed Essence set. I've had a few people ask me exactly what gear I'm using, so I'm just making this video to provide that information for those people. So let's get started. We're going to start with the basic set. I have the boots, the pants, gloves, shoulders, helmet, and chest. For my neck piece, I'm using Hantavoxo. My bracers are Wraps of Clarity. My rings are Focus and Restraint. My belt is Cord of the Sherma. Yang's Recurve is my bow. And Datman's Legacy is my quiver. So that's the basic set. And now let's go over the set bonuses. The 2 set bonus is your generators generate 2 additional hatred and 1 discipline. The 4 set bonus, gain 60% damage reduction and deal 60% increased damage for 8 seconds if no enemy is within 10 yards of you. And the 6 set, your generator and multi-shot, your generators multi-shot and vengeance, deal 20% increased damage for every point of discipline you have. Okay, so the the focal point of this build is multi-shot. That's your main source of damage. That's your hatred spender to proc your, focus. Or either one. I always forget. I mix them up. But you're going to use multi-shot for focus and evasive fire for restraint. I'm probably saying those wrong, but you get the idea. Yang's Recurve gives you a ton of attack speed on your multi-shot so you can spam it a lot faster. And Deadman's Legacy makes it so your multi-shot essentially does double damage to any targets underneath. 60% is the maximum roll you can get. I got 59%, so that's what I'm dealing with. And the other important part of this is the increased multi-shot damage. It gives you up to 100%. I wrote 93% on mine. So it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. So my gems are Bane of the Stricken, Zay's Stone of Vengeance, and Bane of the Trapped. Let's go over the skills and their runes. You want to use Evasive Fire with the Focus rune, Multi-Shot with the Arsenal rune, Companion with the Wolf Companion rune, Volt with the Trail of Cinders rune, Perforation with the Invigoration rune, Vengeance with the Seethe rune, and for your passives, Thrill of the Hunt, Cold of the Week, Awareness, and Ballistics. So I know my build varies from what's probably considered the best, and I'm not denying that it is. This is just the setup that I use and what I'm comfortable with, and people were curious, so I'm providing that information. I use Court of the Sherma because it gives me time to DPS things on higher greater rifts. It provides a field that enemies can't walk through. It gives me more time to burn them down before they can come kill me in one hit, like things do on higher greater rifts. And I use Hantavoxo because I see synergy with Zay's Stone of Vengeance, which at rank 25 and higher gives you a 20% chance on hit, and since you're going to be attacking a lot with that multi-shot, you'll stun things fairly often and be popping the shadow clones from Hantavoxo on cooldown. It summons 2 shadow clones that sort of mimic your skills. For me, they use multi-shot. They put a mark that I believe increases the damage enemies take on them, and they also use Entangling Shot, which slows enemies. So they provide a little bit of utility, and I think they provide significant damage, so that's what I'm choosing to use right now. Uh, that's the general idea of, well, also the bracers. I use these bracers because they give me 35% damage reduction, which helps me survive also. Almost forgot those. Want to make sure you have your green gems, flawless royal, emeralds, and 2 in the legs, 2 or 3 in the chest, and then 1 for your weapon and your quiver. I use a white gem in the forehead, a diamond, for that extra CDR to get that cooldown on vengeance a little bit lower so I don't have to wait as long once it's done. For your Kanai's cube, you want to have Dawn to lower the cooldown of vengeance by a considerable amount because that's a good source of damage and survivability. If you are using this Visage of Goons, that's the way I pronounce it because that's just the way I pronounce it. And Cinder Coat is my alternative for that slot. It's good when you don't need as much survivability because Visage of Goons gives you the Dark Heart rune on Vengeance, which reduces damage you take by, I believe, 50%. But if you're not taking that much damage anyway, you can go ahead and use the Cinder Coat because it reduces the resource cost of multi-shot, so you can spam it a little bit more, put out a little bit more damage. And Convention of Elements is really, really good. Fire is your main source of damage, so when it gets to that fire cycle in the ring, you get a huge amount of burst. And I like to synergize my Wolf Companion cooldown, which gives me a 30%, an additional 30% when I use that cooldown with the fire cycle on Convention of Elements. It lets me burn down bosses pretty quick. That is, I believe that covers pretty much all the basics of this. It may feel tricky to play at higher difficulties solo. Your Wolf Companion can tank things for you inconsistently at times, so you'll have to get used to him. The Field of Chaos that you get from the Court of the Sherma here really helps a lot in higher greater rifts. My highest greater rift right now is 68, and I believe in about 13 minutes, which isn't great, but it's decent, I suppose. And I have one thing to consider is the Witching Hour for your belt slot. That gives you a lot more damage than Court of the Sherma will, but you'll lose that survivability ability of the chaos field that it creates. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to footage of me in a Torment 10 Greater Rift just to give you an idea of how quickly I do things with this current setup. My Paragons are, I'm at 642. I suppose I'll go over the Paragons even though I think they're pretty much the same for all the popular Demon Hunter builds right now. I'll start with utility and work my way to the core stuff. 50 points in area damage, 50 in resource cost reduction. That's actually, I feel, the most important thing in this section. Area damage is also pretty important, and life on hit gives you a lot more survivability. Get that regen up when you're in combat. Defense, resist all is what I go for first. Armor second, and then max life last, and then as you can see, I'm filling in life regeneration now. I occasionally switch off between life regeneration and life as my max. I find life regeneration is more helpful if I find myself getting hit but not dying more often than just dying in one hit. For your offense tab, I maxed critical hit damage first, crit chance after that, and then cooldown reduction. You can kind of do this in whatever order is most comfortable for where you are in the build, but critical damage was my first choice, but play around with it and see which one you like the most for your current setup. And for the core, of course, you want to max out your movement speed. You don't need maximum hatred. as much as you would need maximum discipline, so I just went ahead and put it into all the other points into my max dexterity just to give myself more damage. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to go ahead and get into that Torment 10 Greater Rift just to give you guys an idea of how fast I can do Torment 10 and to see if you like the build. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Exodus out. You. I'm in way too deep and I'm drowning in devotion. I'm lost, can't find a new emotion.